Yeah, the students are joining in now. So good evening, everyone. I would like to welcome everyone on behalf of ICAE, and I'm Almas, and I'll be your host for this webinar. As you all know, today we have come together to know more about Shiv Nadar University, and we have with us Dr. Nishant Mishra, Associate Dean of Student Welfare, and Mr. Anil Nair, Director Admissions, Marketing and Outreach. Welcome, sir. So we will be taking all your queries in the second segment of this webinar. Now I would like to invite Dr. Nishant to have a discussion on higher education in 21st century and beyond. Over to you, sir.
Right. Thank you so much, Ms. Nazir, and good evening and a very warm welcome to everyone out there. My name is Nishant, as Almas Nan has already told you my name, but today what we'll be discussing more than about the university itself, our university itself, the thought and the vision on which the university functions. And that propelling thought needs to be discussed, and the idea, why are we imparting that kind of education needs to be understood. And that is why this topic, today's topic, let me share my screen first. And yeah, I hope you're able to see my screen. Almas, can you see my screen? Yeah, sure. So that is why the topic, which is 21st century education beyond, and what is the need of a shift, a paradigm shift in today's education. And whatever university or college that you're going to select for your higher education, what all things you need to keep in mind, and so as to select a place which gives you a complete holistic education in every sense. So I would have loved to do the session with you physically, maybe in our university campus or probably wherever you guys are. But then given the situation, this is what it is. And technology has come to our rescue. And this was supposed to be a very interactive session, but nevertheless, I'll try and cover in a very crisp form that I can. And it will be followed by Mr. Nair, who is going to give you a glimpse about the admission process at the university. Okay, so let me begin. And I'll begin with a statement by none other than Albert Einstein, when he opined about the usefulness or the uselessness, for that matter, about college education. And he said, the value of an education in a liberal arts college, this can be now rephrased by as university, is not about learning of many facts, but the training of the mind so that you're able to think something different that cannot be learned from textbooks. So university these days and college education these days should act as a center which trains your mind to do something else. Otherwise, learning and directly from textbooks is not a big deal that you can do. And he gave this opinion when he was asked, he was going through a questionnaire at MIT, and he was asked what is the speed of light, and he said, I don't know. Though he would have known, he was a great scientist, but he said, I do not know. I mean, why should I learn those facts that can be seen in a book? Okay, so let's come to the fact that world is changing at a very rapid rate. Okay, the technologies that were there a few years back that have gone obsolete, the businesses that were there that have gone obsolete. So it's not only about you working for a company or you eyeing for a good job, and you training yourself for a good job. It's also about, even if in case you want to run your own business, you need to be aware how the world is changing and how the products are changing, so as your business can be of that standard too. For instance, I'll give you an example. 20 years back, we had those fancy cameras which had rolls and negatives inside it, and you could click only 30 to 36 odd photographs, and you could never see what kind of photographs you've clicked. And after you've clicked all the 30 to 36 photographs, then you used to go to those photo developing centers, take out the roll, give them to develop from negative to positive, and then you used to see a hard copy of it. And many fancy such photo studios that have come up in the market, and big photo studios. But now that business no longer exists. The flourishing business just 20 years, 10 years back is no longer in place. So this is how the things have changed, and it's not only about business, it's about the technology that on which you're working. So you need to keep up to that. Your pace need to be of that standard, and also the kind of education that is imparted to you should also encompass that kind of change, or if not encompass, at least enable you to brace that change and ride the next wave of disruption that's coming to you. So as I said, we have an unpredictable future, and what prepares you for an unpredictable future defines the kind of curriculum and the education that is imparted to you. Okay, it is said, I have not quoted the reference here, but 65% of today's youth will end up with jobs that have yet to be created. Their jobs are evolving every day, and I have a few examples in the slides that are coming up. So now the approach to problem solving has now shifted from specialized to multidisciplinary, because now whatever products are there, whatever technologies are there, they're not just focused only on one particular thing. They are but a combination of many aspects. And regarding the education scenario that has been existing, I like to share with this funny cartoon. You can see the cartoon, and everyone was being judged by only one particular kind of exam, and that is so unfair. And this is how the education has been. And I just love the expression of the fish. Yeah. So, so this is how it is, and we need to change that. So how do we make that kind of shift here? And that shift would come from an education which is truly multidisciplinary in nature. Okay? And what does multidisciplinary mean? So of course it's an English term, and you would know what it means. But the new definition that I would like to define is teaching the whole child. That means that your interest, the student's interest, it needs, and the abilities are to be considered while imparting that knowledge to you, and also the method in which the education is imparted. Okay, so some examples of multidisciplinary approach. So had this been a one-on-one interactive session, I would have asked you, what all technologies do you think goes into making smartphones? So the obvious answer is you need to be a good a programmer, or a computer science engineer, or an IT technocrat, or something of that sort. But in an entire smartphone business, you not only need coders and people from communications domain, you also need people from design. You also need people from manufacturing. The kind of micro chip manufacturing goes there. You cannot but make such a nice fancy phone that is there. And then you have to have a non-technical background, of UI experience, UX experience, and also the design features. And similarly, talking about life sciences, it could have been typical only biology people who would be doing there, but then it talks about prosthetics. So there's a whole lot of things about bone mechanics, biomechanics, which is there. So mechanical engineers are there, electrical and electronics engineers are there, who are now in the field of life sciences. So you see, these days, everything is merged into one, and unless and until you bring intelligence from all aspects, you'll not be able to provide a complete holistic solution to any problem that you face. And so forth for other examples too. Since the time is limited, I am covering the important aspects only. Okay, so main outcomes of this education should be enhancement on critical thinking and problem solving skills. What are future jobs, and what kind of future skills that are required? Okay, and from where did this need emerge? So talking about industry 4.0. So 4.0 means there would have been a level down, industry 3.0, 2.0, and industry at the beginning. So for example, just to explain you what industry this level means, is industry 1.0, 2.0, 3.0, 4.0, how industries have changed, have they developed, and then simultaneously how the universities, the education has changed. So you would know that what kind of a device is this, right? This is a regular chakki through which we grind our grains. But then there was some kind of automation that was brought in, and then we could use the natural resources. So we use water or wind energy to connect this rotating shaft here, and it was made automatic. Then came mechanized power, and it was done. And then came even this. So you could see from a mechanized form, this is also a mechanized, more automated form, but then this talks about mass production. So this is how a particular technology has changed over years. And we could see how at the end of 18th century, it was the Industrial Revolution that started at 1.0. Then in the 20th century, we were Industry 2.0. Then we had some amount of electric energy that was required. And then came the use of electronics and IT, Industry 3.0. And then came the computers and the intelligence that was there to give us Industry 4.0. So this is in general what I just told you about. And the recent trends, it builds on the digital revolution that we all are facing. There are a lot of smaller and powerful sensors that are there. Machine learning has come there. Of course, all pervasive internet is there, artificial intelligence is there. So when I'm talking about Industry 4.0, something which is there is labor energy cost. And now this also relates to very non-technical and non-engineering background people also. So while you're imparting or trying to provide a solution to a particular problem, you need to address it from all aspects. Say, for example, I'll ask you a question as budding young generation for this world. If I ask you, how would you be able to provide solution to this huge problem of global warming? What do you think? What will be the answer that would come from you? You can just write in your chat box or in your question.
Yes,
So,
yes, give your answers in the chat box.
Right. So one small question that you need to solve as an individual, to solve problem of global warming. How would you address the problem of global warming is the question. Okay. So maybe just few quick answers, if in case I can have from you. From anyone? Okay, I think for the want of time, let me give my input. So we need to address this problem. Scientific solutions. People have to sit across and provide and find out solutions to global warming. What kind of CO2 measures and a greenhouse effect measure needs to be cut down, and how to bring about that, and how to arrest the temperature rising, and what kind of measures need to be taken. You would have seen a very famous movie, Snowpiercer, or a series also, wherein when they had resorted to bring down the global warming, and then they ended up doing a little more, and then resulted in something else. So
we have one
science
answer here from Arushi.
Yeah.
So she says,
Right.
as a student of grade 11, I think spreading awareness would be the easiest way to solve it.
Yeah, that's the right answer. So I was about to come to that. So yes, science. The second is technology. Yes, you can come up with electrical vehicles, you can come up with green technology, fine. Okay. But unless and until the mass is not aware, what the answer just came from Arushi is about creating awareness. All these things that you've just mentioned, I have just mentioned, will fall flat, and you'll not be able to give a complete solution to it. Okay. And then also you need to understand the policies that govern it, the policy framework surrounding any particular state or a country, and of course the politics surrounding it. So see, a problem was global warming, but you are addressing it from science, you're addressing it from technology, you're addressing it from general understanding the socio-economic fabric of the society, and of course the policies, and of course the politics. So you need to be aware. So just by studying computer science, or just by studying mechanical engineering, or just by studying BSc physics, or sociology or history, you will not be able to provide complete solution. Unless and until you have knowledge, maybe not complete knowledge, but a little bit of knowledge from all these areas, then only you will provide complete solution. And that is where my university education is based. You need to choose a university or a college which gives you a complete, holistic, multidisciplinary education, despite whatever that you're pursuing as a major, from what all subjects that you can choose and make your own, create your own basket. And whatever learning that happens from these different courses is what is going to count as different and will make you succeed. Okay. Just few of these, they never existed in 2006. Just a few years back, they never existed. And now these are, the norm of the day. You cannot do without it. Okay. Few inventions that took telephone, it took 75 years to reach 100 million customers. Internet took 7 years. Facebook took 4 years. Instagram took 2 years. Pokemon took 1 month. And something as stupid as TikTok also. So yeah, I mean, with the advent of technology, not only good things happen, some stupid things also happen, but then you need to use this, you need to filter this. And that's what I said. What is the learning outcome? Critical thinking. It's not only running about technology, it's about how well do you judge it and how well do you make a good use of it. That's really important. Okay. So the impact can be on individual, it can be on economy, it can be on businesses, it can be on society, it can be at a national and a global level. So that you need to understand. And I'll skip this because I think I need to cover a more important part. But as I said, there'll be a impact at the level of society, inequality at the level of community, and well, talking about morality and ethics, that's a different league altogether, and human connection. So even if in case you're pursuing science or technology, you're doing a BTech or you're doing a BSc degree, still you need to understand and have knowledge about the history. You need to have knowledge about sociology. You need to have knowledge about political science, and then this particular problem can be evaded. Okay. So in 2015, these were the skill sets, but in 2020, we not only need high-end technical skills, but we also need critical thinking, creativity, people management, emotional intelligence, negotiation, cognition. Okay. So for these needs, you need to have an education that leads to University 4.0, which is the emerging education of this century. And then how do we take it forward? So when the education system started, it was a Gurukul system. Yes, we are very proud of it. But it was a one-on-one system, very effective in imparting learning, but not scalable. And then came a sage on the stage. You had one teacher standing on a podium and blurring out all what information he or she had. So he was acting as sage on the stage. And then came a more focused attention on student-teacher ratio. And again, that's very, very important point while you're choosing your university going forward. And at this point, let me tell you that at our university, I am from Shiv Nadar University, the student-teacher ratio is 10:1. The UGC recommends, AICTE recommends a balance ratio as 15:1, 20:1, but we have gone down even further, and this is an unmatched student-teacher ratio that you can find at any other place. And that is what, we are not the sage on the stage, but we are the guide by the side. And along with it, we use technology. You all would have had your classes through online mode now, but we have been doing this ever since. And we have been practicing at the university, which was flipped classrooms method. So it was not only about physical delivering, it was also about giving you notes and video lectures where you come prepared. When you're coming to the classes, you come prepared with some kind of background so that the discussion is more fruitful. So this is what University 4.0 is. And we believe in a saying that was given ages back by someone. And that person said, I hear and I forget, I see and I remember, I do and I understand. So it's all about experiential learning. Can anyone tell me who said that? Any quick answers there? Who said that? Okay, you might be searching on Google. So I'll give you the answer. It's Confucius. Okay. So we believe in complete experiential learning. Okay. To give you an example, what I was talking about, I have taken an example from my university itself. And there are there are other schools and branches within our university. We have School of Engineering, uh, under which we have BTech in Computer Sciences, Chemical Engineering, Civil Engineering, Electrical Engineering, Electronics and Communication Engineering, and Mechanical Engineering. We have School of Humanities and Social Sciences, under which we have BA degree in English, History, BSc in Economics, and a BA in Sociology. We have School of Natural Sciences. Yes, the correct pronunciation is Sociology. It's not Sociology. Okay. However, rural it might sound, but the correct pronunciation is Sociology. And then School of Natural Sciences, we have BSc in Physics, Chemistry, Mathematics, and Biotechnology. In School of Management and Entrepreneurship, we have a BMS degree, and then you can do specialization in finance, marketing, law, HR, operations, and then we have MBA too. So let me ask you, if in case you want to become a financial banker, yeah, financial banking, yes, that's a job, right? Earlier, 20 years back, they did not exist. So what do you think? What all subjects and what all areas do you need to study from this table that's given to you? The table is quite large, is exhaustive. Just taken few outputs from it. So if in case you want to learn, you want to become a successful financial banker, what do you think out of these you need to study and gain mastery out of it? Anyone, any inputs there? So, okay, I'll go ahead. So yes, finance is one. Oh yes, there was an answer. Almas ma'am, what did the answer says?
We have finance, economics, finance marketing, economics, finance economics.
Yeah. So it's all important, but the most important thing is maths. Yeah. So even if in case you're a student of not a student of natural sciences or engineering, maths is important. The kind of maths that you study is of course different, but that's really important. Okay. And yes, the answer is right. The other answer is economics. Right. So you see, you are taking one subject, one course from this school. You're taking one course and one subject from this school, and you're taking one course from this school. So your college or your university going forward should have the capability, should have the flexibility to offer courses and subjects to one particular child and a student from these different areas. He or she might just be studying only civil engineering, but he can study economics, or he or she can study maths and finance at a given point in time. So that's the flexibility that exists in a multidisciplinary education system. Art conservator, that's a job, and it's a very look places. Any answers there? Usually, whenever I ask these questions and chocolates with me, and I hand over the chocolates and toffees the correct answer. But as of now, I can only give appreciation. Was I audible? Your mic is on mute, Almas ma'am.
Yeah. So there was some a bit of glitch from your side, but we are getting the answers. So
Okay.
Fine arts, history, and we have more questions
History
also. Can we study
right?
economics without having economics in class 11th and 12th? So we'll be taking your questions in the second segment. So
yes,
right
we'll
now,
be taking the question, and then to answer that right now, because we're discussing multidisciplinary education, that's a very relevant question that he has asked. Yes, you can study economics even if in case you do not have economics in 11th and 12th, and you'd be surprised to know there is something called as minor degree. I'll let you know what a minor degree is at our university. A lot many students from engineering or BSc or other BA and BMS streams, they do a minor in economics, and not all of them had economics at their 11th and 12th level. So it's very much possible. Okay. And for conservation, yes, you need to understand what kind of chemicals that you need to study. So of course, chemistry is also important. Okay. Let me be quickly data mining. So data mining, yes, maths is again important, as I told you, and then economics is there, and social researcher, of course, sociology you need to study, and then for researcher you need to have very good research skills and research methodologies that are derived from mathematical skills. High performance computing, of course, no prize in guessing, computer sciences, and maths again. Sorry to have that kind of example there. So Almas ma'am, whenever I used to take this kind of a session live, I had chocolates and toffees with me, and I used to distribute to the audience whoever gave the correct answer. But right now I can only give appreciation, nothing more. But nevertheless, whenever the students would come to SNU and would become part of the system, and I am the professors, I'm the professor, I'm a teacher there for them. I definitely, in my classes, I give out chocolates and coffees for every correct answer that student gives. So that's an appreciation.
Yeah,
And
appreciation is much more important, I guess.
right, yeah,
This is
exactly. So
what boosts your morale.
yeah, exactly. So marketing strategy and pricing manager. Okay, so economics and marketing and supply chain management. Now, supply chain manager, before I give you the answers, is a very important part of engineering also. So in mechanical engineering, supply chain management is a very important topic that we all study. Okay? That's part of the industrial engineering. But apart from engineering, yes, you need to study operations and then economics and sociology. And why sociology? Because if your product has gone to the consumer, to the end user, you need to have a feedback system. How is your product absorbed in the society, in the community? Okay? Technical writer. English is one thing, and then specialization in anything. It can be in physics, it can be in chemistry, it can be in mathematics, it can be in any field of engineering, it can be in anything. And just to give you an example, Almas ma'am, I recently met a person who is a technical jockey. So we have heard about RJs and DJs. She's a technical jockey in the US, and she is a biologist by education, and she did her PhD in life sciences, and but she had equal flair about communication and writing and English. So one fine day, what she did was she made a plan, and she she made a program so as to communicate to the general audience, because the normal audience normally is not able to understand what has been the recent innovations in terms of the jargons or technical names. So what she does is she comes on air bi-weekly, and she delivers a program on the radio, and she converts the recent innovations in sciences and technology and converts into a very simple language so that the audience is able to understand in a fun way, an interactive way. And she's earning much more than you should earn as a researcher in life sciences. So this is how the job scenarios have changed. And if in case you had flair and a passion for something, at our university, we'll help you develop your own passion and become successful in that as well. Okay. So again, market research analysis, marketing economics. So the bottom line is you are your own boss. You choose the subjects that you want to study. That is the flexibility that multidisciplinary education and choice-based credit system gives you. And that is the flexibility that SNU, Shiv Nadar University, gives you when you come and study with us. And this is again very important in terms of jobs, because say for instance, I'll give you an example about a placement company. So when there was this very famous construction company that came to us to hire students, to offer them jobs, final year students. And when the company found that these civil engineers have done a minor in mechanical engineering, they gave those students a preference, and they selected those students, because in any building there's something which is very important thing, which is called as mechanical, electrical, plumbing. So a civil engineer has to know about how the plumbing and the entire mechanical structure would go around, and any knowledge, extra knowledge apart from civil engineering is beneficial. So that person becomes more saleable in the market. So that is why this multidisciplinary education is just not a fancy thing; it's need of the hour. Okay, and it gives me a sense of pride to say that we were the first university in India to have launched this choice-based credit system, and then the other universities, they followed us. So you can choose whatever that you want to study from various, you can be doing computer sciences, but at the same time you can study English and gain mastery in it, economics, marketing, anything that you feel like. Okay. So just few examples. And now this is the philosophy on which I was saying our education is based. So at the university, I'm sorry to take this example as BTech in mechanical engineering, because I'm a mechanical engineering professor. I took that example. But your major can be anything. It can be You can do your BTech in computer science, or BTech in civil, or BSc in physics, or BSc in economics, or a BA in history, whatever. That forms your major. So you'll be getting a degree in that particular field after 4 years, and that is your major. Okay. So 60% of the subjects that you'll be studying at the university will be from that major. Okay. We believe in complete holistic education. Despite the fact that whatever is your major, 15% of the subjects you have to study outside your domain, outside your area. So you can take one course from economics, one course from bioinformatics, one course from maths, one course from English, and create your own bouquet. You can create your own bouquet and have a breadth of knowledge that you would want to have. However, if in case you happen to choose, say, all the courses, all these 15% of the subjects, say from design, then you'll also get a minor degree in design at the end of 4 years. Okay, so at the end of 4 years, you'll get 2 degrees. One will be your major, the other would be your minor. And why just these? You can have, a major in computer science, a minor in economics, a major in civil with a minor in electrical, a major in physics with a minor in chemistry, and why just chemistry? You can have a minor in music, in dance, in drama, in business, in whatever field that you feel like, and develop your passion. And not only develop your passion, also create more celebrity factor for yourself when you're out in the market, and people looking and their companies who would be looking for the right kind of candidates to absorb. Okay, the remaining 25% of the courses, everyone at the university, whatever course that you're doing, have to take courses or subjects from these broad categories: Indian history, world history, culture and communication, cognition intelligence, technology and society, environment and ecology. Remember the kind of global warming problem that I gave you, right? So we make you an expert in all the areas, and of course not in all the areas, but then the areas that you choose. But we try and touch base all the important aspects that would help you become a complete solution provider. Okay? So that is what our philosophy is. I'll end my presentation. I think I've taken more than my designated time of half an hour. Once a year, go somewhere that you've never been before. This lovely picture is actually is a true picture of indoor sports complex. We call it as ISC at our university, at Shiv Nadar University. And apart from all the outside sports courts that we have a volleyball court, we have a badminton court. This particular indoor sports complex also houses all the facilities of indoor courts. We have a retractable basketball court, volleyball court, badminton court, squash courts. We also have a jogging track of 200 meters in this track. We have a gymnasium, and you name it, and we have those kind of sport facilities on campus, and we have coaches for those sports facilities also at the campus. And it's a very important part of education again. Why? Because we believe in complete holistic education and a complete holistic development of an individual, and not just sports. We have more than 40 clubs and societies which are run by the students. So be it photography club or dance club, drama club, robotics club, automobile engineering club, you name it, we have those clubs and societies there which are completely run and managed by the students. Okay, and we participate in national and global level competition events through those societies and clubs, and people win prizes through those club societies. So I hope I understand that you have a lot of questions, but let me hand over it to Mr. Anil Nair now, who would guide you for another 10 minutes about the admission process at SNU, and then we'll take all the questions. So I'll just switch my presentation. Just give me a second.
I would like to thank Dr. Nishant for a very informative presentation. And Anil sir will give you more information regarding the admission processes, programs they're offering, and the scholarship opportunities they must be providing for the students. So sir, over to you now.
Okay. Thank
Yeah.
you.
So I'll just stop share and right. Mr.
Professor,
Nair, would you share your own presentation? Should I share the presentation here right
you can
now?
share it, yeah, our
And maybe
info
you can.
session. Yeah, you can share the info session.
Okay, great. I am doing that right away. And this is the presentation. Let me at least show the first slide. This is very important. Let me show the first slide. Mr. Nair, I'll take another minute because I came across a very important point that I need to convey to the audience, and then I'll give it to you. So I hope you're able to see the screen, Mr. Nair.
Yeah, please make it on
Great.
large. Yeah.
Great. So I have a very important, a very nice information to share with everyone here, and that's very important. Shiv Nadar University has been chosen as the institution of eminence by Government of India. This was a scheme that was promoted by MHRD, by the Government of India, UGC, wherein 10 public and 10 private institutions were supposed to be chosen all across the country to be given complete autonomy, not only in terms of imparting education, but in terms of administrative functions too. The list is not yet out, but then within that's the list of 8 institutions that have been declared. We are one of them, and very few institutions, apart from few government and few private, have been chosen and have been given this tag. So this tag itself speaks a lot about our university and the kind of work and the kind of education that we're imparting. And this is how we have been recognized. Right. And let me quickly take you to the admission process slide so that Mr. Nair can begin right from there. Yeah, over to you, Mr. Nair.
Hi, thank you, Prof. Nishant. And thank you, Almas, for giving us this opportunity to talk to the young minds and scholars. So I'll quickly come to just adding what Prof. Nishant has probably showcased student, the importance of multidisciplinary in today's world. All the more reason due to this unprecedented time of COVID, the new normal has come. People probably not even expected how all of a sudden the life changes from a different normal to a new normal, and that has affected, I think, every sphere of life, every industry. So the new generation right now were probably looking enter into the next phase of their life, which I'm talking about higher education, has to be clearly told what is required. So it's no more only the breadth of the program or depth of the program required. So let's say if you're doing engineering, you only need to know engineering. You're doing humanities, only need to know humanities or sciences, like that. It's a T formation what we have right now. So apart from the depth, you have to have a breadth of the knowledge. And that's the reason, if you see why I'm explaining this, just harping on what Prof. Nishant says. So our overall idea, just wanted to share, though this campus is a fully residential campus, almost close to 300 acre. If you see, we can have actually 4 university to 5 university, that big campus we have, but we take a very small cohort. So this year also we are taking only 700 students out of the thousands of application. Why? Because we are looking for the brightest mind, give them a conducive environment at SNU, which is the critical thinking, inquisitiveness, application to problem solving is what we do, and giving them a research and fully environment infrastructure, they do well. And that's where we're coming back to this, how we make sure that we actually select those kind of scholars. So right now the slide what you're seeing is talking about School of Engineering, and we have programs I just mentioned quickly, which is already covered: chemical engineering, civil, computer science and engineering, electrical electronics, electronic and communication, mechanical engineering. So what happened this year, we were little agile towards the overall pandemic situation, and we have actually changed our process. So Almas, to you and to rest of the candidates here and students and parents who are attending, we have done this year, since we started the first option to come to computer science engineering, like School of Engineering program, the first route, if you see, is the JEE mains Jan route. So any student whose score is greater than or equal to 80 percentile, they can directly get admission. Now, yes, The condition would be decided by the respective cutoff from department. So for an example, computer science would be having a different cutoff compared to the chemical and civil. But that's for sure a student who applies has a JE score more than 80 percentile, they can get direct admission. The next option, the route is the SAT. As I mentioned, there are thousands of students who are planning to go abroad, and due to this situation, they deferred their decision or they canceled. We actually accepting this year the college board SAT route. The only difference is that a student has to go for an interview post the cutoff, he or she makes it. So let's say each department has a probably cutoff. A student making the cutoff in that SAT scores, he or she would be called for an interview, personal interaction. That is also the online interview what we have. The last route, which is predominantly our historic route, which used to be the test. This is 3-hour test. It is divided into 2 parts. The first part is SNU SAT, which is a scholastic test, and aptitude, which is predominantly based off 10th level, where we check the quant, verbal ability, abstract reasoning, a small portion of English. That's a 2-hour, plus APT is academic proficiency test, which is different for different subjects. So that is a particular route. The best part today, as we all know that due to this pandemic situation, usually this test used to happen through our partner, which is Pearson VUE Testing Center. But today we are giving facility to students. They are actually can give this test by sitting at home through laptop or desktop. It is called remote proctor test, where your screen would be locked. There would be a proctor, just like you can see me right now talking. Similarly, there would be a proctor who would be watching you. There's a minimum configuration requirement, and you can give the test at the ease of sitting home. So that make sure that the safety of our candidates. That's where is the part. Quickly come to the fees here. Like only one condition is required also. Every student who are applying here should have minimum, PCM score of 70%. This is for CBSE. There is a website link which you have given. There would be different board is there. So different board will have a different, cutoff for that. So that is a minimum we required. In terms of a student will get an offer letter on the basis of their test, whatever 3 routes. I understand some of the 12th board, even we are hearing it's got cancelled or probably postponed. So this would be taken care of. This is required at later stage. Every student would be getting a provisional admission on the basis of their performance. But yes, you have to fulfill the condition of that 70% in this case of PCM, what I mentioned. Now, the second very important part, I'll probably take it here itself, though it's about the fees. Look, the overall focus of the university under the Shiv Nadar Foundation is, as we mentioned already, to look for the brighter scholars from here, and they should become the leader. We don't believe in creating a employee. No, the whole idea is to create a global leader who should not only make a difference in the society where they're living, to the country or probably the global world. It could be they're joining politics, it could be starting their own business, it could be they're joining think tank policy or corporate sector, but wherever they do the high contribution. To make sure that we do that, that's the reason if you see our fees is one of the, very competitive in terms of engineering if you see, and I can simply say very honestly, our fees is as competitive to it's lesser than IITs. So the overall tuition fees for 4 year for BTech is, tuition fees I'm talking 6 lakh. That means every year 1,50,000 only. We mentioned very categorically, we believe in continuous learning where the campus is a fully residential. So it's mandatory from an undergraduate to a postgraduate and PhD to be part and reside inside the campus. Okay. Now that's the reason if you see apart from this, we have a hostel, mess, laundry and all that fees, which is 98,750, 41,000 for that per semester, which includes your mess fees, which covers your starting meal from breakfast, lunch, snacks, dinners. There's a laundry facility, which is also included in all of that. So that is also comprises. So overall fees for this whole requirement is 5,75,000 for every students in all. That's for 4 years. And all the fees, as I told you, is payable by yearly basis. In the initial stage, as we are aware, the fees would be charged only right now 1,50,000 plus 25,000 admission fees and 25,000 refundable security for all the programs. So in a sense, a person who would be qualified through any of the route, get the offer letter, provisional offer letter, will have to pay only 2 lakh. The next comes to School of Natural Sciences. Again, we have BSc Research in Biotechnology, Chemistry, Mathematics and Physics. Quickly run down, we have an option of JEE here again, where your percentile again has to be more than greater than or equal to 80%, but definitely followed by an interview there. Those candidates who make it to the cutoff internally decided by the department will be called for a personal interview interaction at the option 1 route. Second option route, again I said, is SNU APT, the same test which we talked about. Those who again make to the cutoff will be called for the shortlisted candidate, will be called for an interview. Post the selection criteria of the interview plus performance in the test, student would be roll out offer. And similarly the SAT. Quickly the fees I'll come up here is 50,000 a year tuition fees. That makes 2 lakh for 4 years. Now please note, probably Professor Nishant want to make, all our program apart from BTech are 4 year. And if you see the degree title called BSc Research component, so the 4th year is actually where they sum up their white paper, thesis, projects, so make this degree as a 4 year. And there's a high advantage to it, probably in the question answer round I can take it up. Rest, hostel fees, rest remains same across for all programs. So I'm not going to repeat that. Here also the provisional is there. Why? Because the 12th board marks would be 70% aggregate. And it would be normalized for different boards. This is for CBSE. Prof. Nishant, the next one. Yeah. Prof. Nishant, can you hear me? Can you move this slide? Probably it's not moving.
Nishant sir had some problem hearing us, so
Okay.
he'll be joining us again.
No issues. Let me try. Can I present then? Probably let me try.
Yeah. You must be having a share screen option.
Just a sec. Sorry for this inconvenience.
No, it's totally fine.
Okay. Is my screen visible? Almas, is my screen visible to you?
Yes, sir, it is visible.
Okay, that's great. Wonderful. Thanks. So this is for School of Humanity and Social Sciences. So we have a program, all our program, as I mentioned, is research. There BA research in English, history, sociology. There's a one more program which probably Professor Nishant has not mentioned. I would like to mention. It is called International Relations. And this program is actually getting quite a loud, response from a lot of students who are applying. It's actually one of the most sought after program in our humanities there. Program here, BSc Research program also we are added up here. It's basically BSc Research Economics, and definitely an added program called BSc Research Program Economics and Finance. This is a new edition. The routes again remain same, SNU SAT APT plus interview. Shortlisted candidate again would be called for interview. Similarly, the College Board SAT, and definitely ACT, which is very recently we added up because we're seeing a lot of students applying for US has done ACT. No need for repeating them to go for tests. That's the reason we accommodate ACT also. So these are the routes for all the humanities program. And again, the eligibility criteria remains same, which every candidate has to follow, even they get the provisional offer letter, is 70% aggregate in marks. The fees remain the same as for School of Natural Sciences, 50,000 each for a year tuition fees and respective boarding, lodging, laundry there. The only difference would be the fees for BSc Economics and your Economics and Finance would be little different, which I would be covering in the next school. Rest tuition fees, rest all remains same. Can you see my next slide? School of Management and Entrepreneurship. Exactly. So this is again, I don't want to repeat, it's entirely the same way what we are doing. Route 1, option 2, option 3. These are the 3 routes to apply through SNU SAT APT interview, our internal, then SAT plus interview, College Board SAT, and ACT plus interview, like that. The fees is slightly different than the School of Humanities and Natural Science. that is a lakh of rupees tuition fees for a year, which comprises to make 4 lakh for 4 years. Rest all hostel fees, boarding, lodging remains the same. The only thing is admission fees 25,000, and 25,000 refundable deposit has to be paid by the student at the time of admission. So this remains same. The program of economics and finance, which I told you, is basically this is the fees applicable for this one. Now, next comes up, that's an important question. A lot of students would be thinking. So the main route, as I said, historically, we used to take it through our assessment, which is SNU SAT, Scholastic Aptitude Test, which is 2 hours. So these are the sections what would be covered during 2 hours. The first one is verbal reasoning, quantitative ability, abstract reasoning, and essay. Please note, all of this would be, in terms of tested at the level of 10th. We do understand a lot of students may not have maths during their 11th and 12th grade. That's fine, because we need it only for the 10th level. So this is a 2 hour test there. Moving to the next 1 hour out of this 3 hours is your academic proficiency test, which I covered quickly. For School of Engineering, it's physics and maths. So each subject is 30 minutes. That means that's comprised to 1 hour. Okay. Now all these exams are for 12th board level. Okay. Student doing very conceptual knowledge. Lot of people ask how are the exams and all. I simply says for engineering student, those who know, JEE usually give you 1.5 minutes to, attempt a program. We give you 1 minute. So a lot of students says this is as, I'm not saying tough, but definitely competitive like JEE exam. But yes, we believe in checking the conceptual knowledge rather than a pattern or abstract base of learning. The second school is School of Humanities and Social Sciences. For economics, we have maths, 30 minutes, and critical writing. Similarly, economics and finance. And for rest program like English, history, sociology, and IR, there are critical writing. There are 2 critical writing topics would be given 30 minutes. It could be simply, a topic could be due to this pandemic situation, if being a president or prime minister of a country, will you take a decision to lock down or will you not? So whichever way you are supporting, you have to write it. So we wanted to look how a situation has been apprehended by a candidate, how is the approach, the critical thinking, and probably at the end the solution looking to go there. That basically would be checked. The topic could be anything. Similarly, for School of Management and Entrepreneurship, it's the same critical writing 1 and 2, half an hour. And for economics and finance, it's maths and critical writing. For biotechnology under the School of Natural Sciences, the first paper would be biology. The second would be physics, maths, and chemistry. Either of the choice student can take. Similarly, for physics, the first paper is physics. The second is maths. Chemistry, we have a choice, first paper, because that's the main subject. And rest they can choose. So if you are good in bio, you can give the second test bio, physics, like that. And similarly for mathematics, it's maths and critical writing. Now the next question, which is very important, probably I think all candidates, parent and almas, probably you would be interested. Look, first and foremost, the fees when we are giving you already, it's in a way, it's quite a scholarship competitive fees. Okay, why I'm saying, even if you compare the kind of money we have to spend on a one single student in terms of hostels and other, it is far beyond what a tuition fees is paid by a candidate. So first and foremost itself, the fees itself, you can call it, I don't call it discounted, that's not a right word, but it's quietly heavily subsidized. Okay, that's where it is done it. But still, as I said, we look forward to welcome the scholastic students. So our first criteria in scholarship is gifted student scholarship, where these are the particular top. I've given the segments. So the top rank holder of 12 CBSE board, anywhere ICAE or all, they would be getting a 100% scholarship, which takes care of their tuition fees, their boarding, lodging, everything. In a way, nutshell, they don't pay a single penny to study at SNU. I will proudly say last year, the CBSE All India rank topper, 4th rank, Ruchika Agarwal, also joined us in the Department of English, BA Research in English, and she is one of the gifted student scholarship with us, okay, where her whole fees has been taken care of. So all the categories you can read is mentioned: IB grade, Inspire, Advanced Scholarship for SHE1, which we have, JEE Advanced 500 toppers, they get it, and definitely KVVPY, which is Kishore Vigyan Protsahan Yojana. Any student got those fellowship holders, they would be getting. Similarly, merit cum means we are giving this to students who scored more than 92%, probably in PCM and aggregate, and definitely, their financial background income, cumulative for the family is less than 8 lakh and all. So those students also can apply to this route of scholarship and all. Whether they get 80%, 70% or 100%, the committee will decide while judging their application, and accordingly would be done. So this is what we call merit cum means, which is there and all, which has been given to all students. Last but not the least, what we have is called rural scholarship. Again, which I told you, there are certain schools we have mentioned and all. You will, when you go to our website, it is mentioned there and all. It's Navodaya Vidyalaya and all. But the route is very simple. All the student who is supposed to get this scholarship or qualify for this, they will be only joining through the very clear meritorious route. So they have to make it to the merit list first and then eligible for the scholarship. So we are not discounted anywhere the scholar part. You understand? That's the first fundamental rule of Shiv Nadar University. Any student who make it coming through the meritorious route. One scholarship is not added up here. Just wanted to share, since we just recently, college board also, those students who coming through SAT, if your scores are more than 1350 in the college board SAT, they also provide around $2,500 tuition fee scholarship to each candidate. So those candidates also who get through SAT apply to us, and if they got the admissions through meritorious route, and if their scores are high, they are eligible for that. So Alma, in a nutshell, that's what we provide right now. But I'm saying students do a lot of desk research. They can actually go and compare the fees. And they probably don't require even going for scholarship. But still, we have a very handful scholarship for all the candidates here.
It was a very, very thorough presentation from you, sir. I guess
Right.
students have, yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Almas, I like to take a minute more.
Yeah,
I have a very special person here in the panel, and I
yeah,
invite
sure,
him.
sure, sure. Yeah.
As I said that we believe in developing an individual, and also I talked about how we give all the rights and decision-making authorities to the student community. We also have a full-fledged mess committee managed by the students, transport committee managed by the students, hostel affairs committee, campus affairs committee, all managed all by the students. We have a full-fledged student body with us, and the chosen president student council, a vice president student council, cultural secretary, technical secretary, and they have say in almost all the decisions that the university makes. And I wanted all of you to hear it from the horse's mouth itself. And I've called Mr. Ashwin Johnson here today. Incidentally, he is my student also. He's part of mechanical engineering, and he is the president of student council. If you could, Ashwin, say whatever that you've learned in SNU and you've known in SNU, and how it has benefited you, so that it is of great learning for the audience which is here right now, and it helped them make a decision.
Okay, so just like a brief introduction. So,
We can't hear you, Ashwin.
Hello, can you guys hear me? Hello.
Yes, you need to speak a little louder.
Sure. So I was saying, as a brief introduction, I'm Ashwin Johnson. I'm doing my BTech in mechanical engineering, and I'm pursuing a minor in eco. As Sir touched upon the minors, my personal preference was economics. I am so what the method we've gone for that is a credit-based system. As long as I complete 22 credits from economics courses, I get my minor in that. And there's no as such eligibility criteria for the minor other than completing the courses and getting a good grade in them. So now that aside, so I wanted to just share a small experience from what I've done in Shiv Nadar University. So I was not special in any way. I'll be quite honest with you guys. Like in school, I'm an army kid. I used to keep shifting schools. I never really got into much of the extracurricular activities. The moment I came to Shiv Nadar University, however, I got into the culture committee scene. So I have one of my seniors, Veni Bhatyal. She was the previous cultural secretary. She guided me, and I was part of I was a culture committee member. So that was my starting part of the extracurricular scene within Shiv Nadar University. From there, I soon became the class representative. It was an elected position. I was representing the batch of mechanical engineering in my second year. Along with that, side by side, Breeze is our cultural festival which we have every year. So it's both sports, technical, and cultural in one festival. So I was part of the organizing committee for that. So the thing is, for me, it was a huge deal that every single thing, people used to support you for it. Like, I used to always be afraid that, I'm not right for this position. I do not know what's happening. But I've always had amazing people to guide me throughout the process. And I've always had even the professors able to guide me. Like Nishant Mishra sir had guided me right from the first year. He'd always made me feel the way that, so sir mentioned, right, awards. So in the first year, the award which sir had given me personally was someone who always had the biggest smile in class. And it might seem like a very small thing, but such things usually boost your morale. And it helps a lot when you're trying to develop your personality. And I can honestly say that the exposure Shiv Nadar University has given me right now, it is unmatched. Like, I do not feel like I'll get such personal attention if I'd gone to any other university. Like, I'd cleared BITS, I'd cleared VIT, but the only reason I joined Shiv Nadar University was because when we'd come here too, the personal interaction we received during the orientation was unmatched. There's no doubt about that. And like sir mentioned, a 10:1 faculty ratio is unheard of. Now coming to the part where I mentioned about the student council. So the student council actually covers every single sphere of the university. So like sir said, we have campus affairs that covers all hostel-related issues, our academic building, any issues that pop up there. Like a few things we've achieved is, one, we've created an SAC, which is the Student Activity Center, for people to relax, for people to socialize with. Second, we've got sanitary pads installed in all female washrooms. Third, we've got vending machines installed all over the college. And this is only done because we have an open dialogue with the administration, right? And we can easily, basically student council, it's not a political council as such, it's more administrative, it has a more administrative in nature. So what our job is to do is serve as a bridge between the student body as well as the administration, to convey the needs of the body to the administration, and at the same time keep a check over the student. Like, I'm personally even part of the disciplinary committee, which I sit on with Nishant Mishra. So yeah, any queries which you guys would have?
Great. Thank you so much, Ashwin. And I think we can take up all the queries together, and whosoever can answer the best would take up that question. And thank you really for that. And there he goes, a live example of how we have given charge to the young generation in making decisions, not only their decisions, but how affecting decisions of the university, and also a major minor combo, a major mechanical, a minor economics. Right. Thank you so much, Ashwin. We are now open to questions. Almas ma'am, there was a very quintessential question by somebody. I missed that question in a jiffy because I logged out.
Yes. We are open for questions, and you can drop in your questions in Q&A box for a smoother function, so that we have all the questions at one place. So there was one question from Dr. Anita. She says, when you were having presentation, Dr. Nishant, so she wrote, sir, you have been talking more about technical skills and job absorption in those areas and domains.
Right.
What about those students who opt for pure humanities? What are the options for them in terms of career and also subjects? And she continues writing, also my son is interested in opting for a career in theater, acting and performative arts. Are there any internships offered by the university in theater or acting?
Right. I think the major part will be answered by Mr. Nair, but before that, I'd like to give you an example. So theater and performing arts, we have full-fledged degrees in it. We have Master of Fine Arts, we have professors, from that area. It's not only the students who get benefited. When I joined this university way back, 2011, and just after 2 years, at this age and after so much, of experience, I myself as a faculty member did an acting 101 course inside the university with my students whom I had taught, with a professor in acting and theater there at the university. And I would not have wanted to make a career in theater there, but then the kind of change that brought in within me, so that those theater skills, I could probably present myself better, I could communicate myself better in a more animated or theatrical way inside the classroom, so that there's a better connect with the students. So that kind of opportunity helps the students. So there are students who have done their elective courses in theater and performing arts. I'll give you 2 examples. and I'll name those students. There was a student called as Bhargavi Gopalan. She was an electronics and communication major, but took a minor in dance. And now and while doing continuing her education in electronics and communication, a minor in dance, she made a technical paper on dance, and she presented that paper in Phoenix, and she got the best poster presentation award there. Not only did she continue the research in that area, she worked on kinesthesia of dance, and now is working full time into these dance modes and delivery through dance modes, being an engineer of profession. Another senior of hers, Niharika, she did her dance minor again. She was also, I think, a computer science engineer and did a minor in dance. And now she's a full-fledged dance teacher. She has opened her own Natya, Mandapam, and she teaches and trains people there. And she also is associated with not many schools, and she teaches dance. Another person who's a mechanical engineer, Vignesh, he did his minor in dance, and he even further went and did a master's course in dance, and now owns a full-fledged dance studio, which is very famous. So it's not about you being in any of the stream. This kind of multidisciplinary education that the university offers, you can develop your career in that area. And so goes for theater as well. Mr. Nair, if you could continue there from, please.
Just to add here, Dr. Anita's, it's totally understood. By DNA, Prof. Nishant being mechanical engineering, that's the reason the example is coming. But definitely, as we mentioned, multidisciplinary is the biggest. So for an example, students who are doing a BA Research English program, so the very career options for them comes up as academic researchers, journalists in both print and web. They can be an editorial for website. They could be a creative writing, advertisement copywriter, social media handler, managers, and they could be curator at the art and gallery archives, which you do. PRs comes up, art administrator, many more roles which we have provided to. I'm just giving an example from the English program. Just to add what Professor Nishant said, the major and minor, this whole kind of mix, it's really sprouts up the overall, the inner passion of a student and make them go up to the ladder. Like I think probably just to add what he says, we also have, Hrithik Sharma. I think he's again from an engineering background, but again done minor in music and all. And probably you would have seen movies like Manikarna and Zero. He was the basically musician and music producer. He has started his own company, and these two Bollywood movies is making a big mark. So please see from an engineering, the takeoff has taken. Look, at the end, I know each parent want their ward should be successful wherever they are. And we have seen 100% in life. That's our examples. We all have people or candidates who do with the passionate something, they do grow in life, not for a shorter period, but for a long life. That's where it is.
So we'll move on to the next question. Next question is from Kanika Bhutani. She says, what is the SAT cutoff for BMS course? And what is the minimum score of SAT required to apply through SAT?
Look, the internally SATs, I think any score above 1100 or 1200 students should apply, because each department is different. So if you ask me, the department doesn't disclose to us also for the SAT score. They see the overall lot. It depends on the each lot, round one, round two. Let's say the round one have the highest have like 1560 or 1580. So accordingly it changes. But I think if you have a score from more than 11 or 1200 and all, you definitely can apply and check it.
So there's one question from Ruby Gupta. She says, do you have any psychology courses?
No, unfortunately, yes, there are a lot of time we have got this request. Psychology we don't have. As we mentioned, all our program are typically a 4-year program where a lot of research comes up and all. There are a lot of experiential learning is there. Even our lot of students in BA research history, they don't just go by books. In fact, we are the first private university to have a history lab. Nobody would have heard of history lab in my times, at least. Definitely, usually it's happened in sciences and engineering, but we teach the artifacts and all through the practical approach of going to the all archaeological sites and then study. And that's the reason why psychology, because it's a very heavy domain which has to do the subject become human. So that part is going on till the time we don't come up with the real program, where I told you, you need to deal with psychology. Let's mean human become a subject. We don't come up. So, but it's under progress. I'm not sure, probably a year or two, but it will take time to come up that program.
Okay. So next one is from Savini Mittal. She says, are there any sports scholarships available?
Absolutely. I apologize that I missed that part and all, because this also we introduced this year itself. We do have a sports scholarship and all. There's a clear-cut link for the scholarship students. Each program has been, there are certain ranking. You have to have a national player or whatever. There are certain ranking and matrix has been given, which student can apply through that and scholarship they would be getting. So yes, your answer, in a way, there is a scholarship. All of you can actually go to the admission site and can get the whole detail there.
Okay, so one question is from Riya Upal. She says, do you consider entrepreneurship in CBSE class 11th and 12th as optional subject or main academic subject?
Sorry, come back again.
Okay, 1 minute.
I missed the question.
Yeah, I also missed that question. Yeah, so do you consider entrepreneurship in CBSE class 11th and 12th as optional or main academic subject?
Look, please understand that all depends on the subject to subject. So for an example, if it is a program for Bachelor of Management Study, definitely it can be part of it because it's a very new program. You may not find in a lot of other boards and all. But if you're looking for this program in the sciences, probably I'm not sure it would be conducted because we haven't came across this particular program as such. But yes, when are you applying? I am sure for BMS it would be a part because one of the assignments which students do is definitely this topic is.
Okay, so we have Shantav Garg with us. He wants to ask a question. Shantav, you can unmute yourself and ask your question.
Yeah. I think I answered Shanta's question there. He was asking about a minor in arts or design. And I told him that, yes, in fact, a minor in design is a very popular minor at SNU. A lot of students take a minor in design at SNU.
Okay.
So
we'll move on to the next question then. Navya Mathur wants to know, how can one prepare for SNU SAT?
Okay. Navya, as I mentioned, please, you don't need to prepare. If you're in 12th right now, you no need to prepare for SNU SAT anyway. Why reason I told you, it's pretty simple. It's a 10th level. So if I have to probably tell you or calculate some stats, it's very simple. Okay. So it's on the 10th level maths and all. Your abstract reasoning and logic, you don't need to do a study. But yes, if at all you wanted to do, we don't have any sample paper or so. You can probably try some of the SAT based questions if you want. That can give you a slight help. In terms of the next part, APT, that definitely we check your deep conceptual knowledge of the your program subject. So let's say if you're applying for engineering, physics and maths could be there, and it's of 12th level. We check. Similarly for humanities, it's a simple critical writing. I given an example there.
Okay. So Shubhra Prakash wants to know, I would like to know about internships for BA English. Yep. Which are the companies where students intern, and she has one more added question, that does SNU offer minor in photography?
I think
okay, so photography question, yes, we do offer a lot of courses in photography. We have a professor in the Department of Arts, Professor Atul Bhalla, who specializes in photography and offers a lot of photography courses. We also have a Department of Communication, which also offers courses and electives in communication, that is film work and camera work. So in communications, yes, we have a minor, but in photography per se, we do not have a minor. We have courses in photography that one can take.
Okay.
Regarding the internship.
Yes,
Sorry. Regarding the internship, look, internship doesn't fall as a typical program under English as a curriculum, but definitely a lot of times students go internship. Predominantly, we have seen they do on a project for certain thesis and all, along with a lot of lecturers of different universities. And they do also join sometime. We have even seen our students going to banking, specifically, the corporate writing and all. There are companies which has come up and all. If you specifically need which are the companies and all, we can share you the list and connect you with our career development department, which can actually elaborate which are the core companies student would have gone.
Okay, so we have one more question from Dr. Anita. She says the SNU SAT exam in the School of Humanities and Social Sciences, there's a section critical writing 1 and 2. Please elaborate a little bit on what is tested.
Sure. So I probably have explained earlier, but maybe due to a paucity of time, I would have gone fast. So critical writing, as I said, the title itself tells you, it's critical writing. I'll take you a very simple example, so probably will understand, because we have a lot of people pro and all. Don't take it any political agenda here and all. So let's say an example, we have the pandemic situation. I give you again, and you being a prime minister and president of a country. So you have a choice to save the economy of the country or to save the people of the company. So if you have given that choice, what you will take? And if that choice has been given to you, what are your views about it? Okay, so what we check in that critical writing, this for an example I'm giving topic, whether you understand the topic, how you apprehend the topic overall, and what is your views. If you take a views critical way, what exactly is your approach to problem solving, towards that and all, and what kind of an argument you give it to that and all. That's predominantly check, and definitely English should be considered how you do well. And the topic is not only this, it could be probably different. It could be a very topic related to gender bias in probably work area, anything like that. So overall thought process, what we check it in a student, it's more that is being checked.
We have one question from Arushi Shah. She says, what subjects do you need to take in 11th and 12th for BTech in biotechnology?
Okay, so it's pretty simple. I think there is a 2 combination coming up and all, because for BTech, it's PCM is the requirement. For biotechnology, definitely as a School of Natural Sciences, the subjects come bio main. So very rarely I see probably somebody taking both the subjects.
Right. So yeah, so English and biology are mandatory. 2 courses are mandatory.
Yeah, definitely. And for your BTech, it's physics, chemistry, maths.
Okay, thank you, sir.
Yes.
So the next question is, as I understand, this from Ruby Gupta, she says, as I understand, all entrance exams have maths. Do you have any mechanism to include kids who did not have maths in even 10th?
I'm not sure there is any board in India, but you have maths level 1 or 2, but maths, I think they would have predominantly done it. I'll tell you, ma'am, the maths which we test is not about a typical linear equation or, a typical checking on stats and all. It's a basic which is requirement trend. So for an example, calculating the percentage growth, and abstract reasoning is logical reasoning kind of a thing. It doesn't require heavy on maths. It simply tells if I have a glass of water in my hand, if I leave the glass is going to fall down, simple gravitational rule. So I'm just saying that's a logic. Why this logic? That rationale has come from the basic fundamental gravitational rule, which either you have science or no science, you know that. So that way, I don't think so, ma'am, we have any program, because we have done it. The reason I'll tell you why SNU SAT is common. This helps us to give the broader aspect which we talk about, breadth of the program. What is the reason? We have an example here, Ashwin, who's an engineering student, but also doing minor in economics. You understand? So I'm just saying, similarly, we have a lot of examples where we see crossed interdisciplinary and multidisciplinary student do. So we have this bare minimum requirement for us so that the student is able to, accommodate to our kind of learning environment and do well. I'll just simply tell, we accommodate also, like if you see Bachelor of Management study, lot of student, and if you see Bachelor of Management study, lot of things you have to do related to finance, big time. Financial management is one of the integral courses there. A lot of students probably do specialization there. But if a student has not done that, still fine in 12th, because we cover a bridge. We do a particular course in the very first semester. We will make sure that we'll take a student from A to B stage, so we bridge that gap through that course. But yes, for the entry level, we don't have an option to eliminate this right now.
Okay. She further says that my daughter does not have either maths or science after 8th. What are her possibilities?
Look, I still said that please don't underestimate the kid right now. As I told you, it's a typical test. by the time you want to apply for the test and all, I suggest do some reasoning, abstract reasoning. There are a lot of sample papers are there in SAT. Do that. Probably after doing that, you will come back and tell you don't need maths there, because that's a simple logics required there. So I think let her give the test. Yes, she can join program in humanities. She can join program in Bachelor of Management Studies at Shiv Nadar University, where we don't need maths as a subject mandatory requirement.
So Dia wants to know what are the subjects required for BMS.
There is no what you call fundamental rule that we need, because you can apply. But yes, I have seen it a lot of students with commerce side, science side, because it's a mix. We have students who have PCM 92% also applied BMS. You know, they have taken, you know what happened, it's a peer pressure, family pressure. If you don't take science, that means you're a little low. We have that. The students is pretty clear. They're doing, you know, doing flying colors in whatever program they're doing. So I have a student who is from PCM but joined BMS. I have a student from sciences who are joining BMS. I have a student who has done humanities and done BMS, and I have a student from commerce and all. So there is no requirement. The only requirement is it should be minimum 70% aggregate in the subjects what you have. But we don't calculate the subject when we do.
I think Mr. Nair got disconnected. He'll be there. He'll be there shortly. He's there. He's there. Yeah. So only English is mandatory in the mark sheet, and all the subjects are fine with that. Yeah. There's a very interesting question by, I think, Ms. Malhotra.
Yeah. So this will be the last question of our session also.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So she says that my daughter wants to pursue economics, maths, statistics, along with machine learning. And so we have heard of this as an integrated program. Does Shiv Nadar University of? So okay, we are offering a program which is a very recently launched program, which is BSc in Economics and Finance, which is a joint program that has been offered by School of Management and Entrepreneurship and School of Humanities and Social Sciences, wherein you would find all these. So in fact, in the BSc Economics and Finance, statistical tools are the more important ones that are there in that particular entire course. So yes, you will get to learn about economics, maths, and statistics. Machine learning, if not there in the core curriculum, can always be taken as a UWE, which is university-wide elective. So the subjects that the student chooses while he or she is doing her major, she can choose. There are 2-3 machine learning courses which are there that she can choose and develop knowledge in that area. So basic economics and finance with a minor in the related field would serve best for her.
Yeah, I guess we're done with the Q&As. I can't see more questions here. So I would like to thank everyone for attending today's session. Thank you all the students, all the counselors and teachers for taking out your time. Thank you, Dr. Nishant, Anil and Ashwin. Thank you very much for very thorough information that you all have provided today. And I hope students must have got something from this information. Goodbye, everyone. Stay safe, stay healthy. Thank you.
Alma. Thank you so much for giving. Thank you, ma'am. Just wanted to.
And they can also always reach out to us on admissions.
Yes, definitely.
So we will share you this PPT, and there is a slide which has a lot of video links. Where can actually they can feel the university, they can see how the professors and all. So we'll share with you, Almas, because you might be having their registered email ID.
Yes, we will be sharing all the details with you.
Yeah. Okay, fine. So we can also send it. Thank you.
Yeah, sure.
Once again, from our extended family here and all, I would like to wish everybody and your near and dear ones have a safe and stay healthy. Please keep yourself. Thank you so much.
Thank you, sir.
Thanks. Bye-bye.
Bye, everyone.